Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everybody. She has given us lots of insight in moving our lives forward in many different ways as an individual. Today, we're going to change it up a little bit and focus on you if you are, let's say, a business owner. Let's say you lead a team. Let's say you're responsible for others. She is somebody that can holistically help transform your life, your business, and success and wellness. And we're going to look at communication and motivation with others today. And she is Dr. Joanne White. She's back with us. How are you doing?
Great, Steve. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Great. I'm fantastic. Great to have you back here. You are somebody that coaches people along. You have coaching, you have counseling. You've done this, for a short period of time. Oh, I don't know, like 3 decades.
Very
We should compare notes. We've been around. As they say, I'm in a men's group, and as they say, there are some there who are the elders. So maybe I'll take that title if I get it. So why not? We've been around. We've experienced. You certainly have. You work with so many people in so many different levels, helping them with abundance, success, wellness. You've also written some amazing books that have really, really moved lives forward. And in fact, we talked previously about a book that you put out to help children with challenges back in the day. And there were challenges with you even putting that book out where people were not open to what you had to say. And then they saw it and became a very, very fantastic selling book. So leadership essentially is what we're looking at today, right?
Right. So, we know what it's like to begin. We talked a little bit about this last time, to lead oneself, because we have to also be a leader in our own lives. And that's really important. But like you said, what if you're leading a team or overseeing other people and whatever and business? It's important to be able, first thing is to really be honest. People need to be able to trust you. They need to know that you're the real deal. And that's so important. It really is important. They also need to feel valued. They need to feel appreciated. They also need to know what the vision is. Where are we going with this? What's the goal? What do we want to accomplish? And oftentimes it's important to include your team members into that vision, so it's a shared vision, so that they have some input into it. That's really important. When I was working years ago as an executive director, one of the first things I did was go around to various teams, the individuals in the teams, and said, so what do you need? What do you need to do your job? They were shocked, Steve. Nobody did that before. Nobody went around and individually said, and they felt like, wow, that makes a difference. So get that input. Let people know that you're really interested, because they are really what builds and makes whatever kind of organization or company successful, the people behind it. It's not just the leader. It's all the people that are contributing, that are there, that are giving their all in so many different ways, and they need to be acknowledged and inspired and supported in so many ways. I also, when I was working years ago, I created a staff appreciation day. Because that, and again, people were shocked. Well, but again, these are the people that are putting their time, their hearts, their souls into the work that they're doing. Why not acknowledge it? Why not be able to let them know that they're cared, that what they do is important, that they're honored and respected for all that they do?
Wow. There is no loyalty anymore. Let's be honest. Back in the day when you had a job, they gave you the watch after 25 years. Now they could give you a pink slip. It could happen to anybody at any time. It's a different culture. And people don't show the same caring and appreciation. I find it's important to ask questions. So Staff Appreciation Day, love it. Fantastic. I've heard of some companies that, some people that work at companies, and one said to me, this in the past year, yeah, it's great. They brought in food, they had trays of Italian food and everything, and that was all great. I appreciate that. But then this person and the others, again, they appreciated it, but they said, we don't want to eat. We're trying to eat healthy. We don't need trays of ziti and all that. Give us a gift card. Take the money that you spent on that and give us a gift card for maybe Starbucks and divide it up between everybody. So what I got from that was they cared that the company cared, but ask people what they would like,
Right. And that's so important because it's not just in terms of ask them what they like in terms of appreciating them, but what they need to do their job. And also include them in the inspirational part of it. Oftentimes some of the wonderful things for innovation not only come from the leadership, Steve, it comes from the staff members who may have a different idea or a different way of looking at something. It's important to make sure that people are heard, that their voices and what they're contributing is really acknowledged, and it can make a difference. It's also important that they be inspired. It's like if everything's the same, whatever, and they don't have a chance to communicate or to share their values, and values are very important because I've done some research years ago, and many people who are in a company or organization, if their values weren't aligned with the company's, they felt that they really didn't want to be there, and oftentimes they would take sick leave or whatever or quit. So what are your values? And I think the values of the company and what's behind it is really important to share with your team so that they know it, they can be a part of it, they can even contribute. And you also need to be real. I said authentic. You and I talked about that a lot last time. And authenticity is so important. It's not like you just have this appearance of being the leader and that's it. It's acknowledge the people, see who they really are, get to know them, get to really let them know that their contribution is making a difference. But that means finding out what they do, being interested, listening, letting people, creating seminars or whatever where people are contributing to help grow the organization, to help deepen the values, whatever it is. And that's really important.
Authenticity is key. And I'm going to just look at one company that I worked for and 3 different managers. Top end. This is, what they call the corner pocket. That's where the office was. So 3 different managers. The first one, very ego driven, just going to say, and these are not my words. I'm just echoing what everybody would say. We all agreed. We would see the same thing. This one person would make you feel like the door is always open. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Nobody wanted to go into that office. Nobody ever wanted to sit in that chair across from him with his desk. And essentially, he was all about himself. It was, he would make you feel that, put your signature on it, your stamp on it. No, you're just looking for your numbers and how you can succeed. So he leaves. Next manager comes in. Oh, better, but not as authentic as it needs to be. And how do I know all of this? He leaves. And by the way, after him, I left. I was done. This is not the culture that I want to work in. And that was after a number of years. The next gentleman who is still in that position, I knew him from corporate. So I've worked with him since in a different capacity. But here's the difference. He's real. He's genuine. Keyword coming. He's curious. He will ask you questions to understand and learn. And if he doesn't know something, he doesn't have to, sit in the big throne. I'm the leader. I know everything. He's no, tell me about that. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I've even met with him having a beer and a burger with an idea. He's like that. Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. Complete difference. But he's still respected, and you have to have that delicate blend between the friends and the superior. He blends it really well. You feel like you're close to him, like he's a member of the team, but also he's in charge. Radical difference. I had to share that because it sounds like what we're talking about here in terms of authenticity. It's key.
It's really very important. And it's important to listen to what people have to say, like you said, because oftentimes their knowledge, their contribution can really make a total difference in the direction that the organization or the company is going,
Yeah.
in how it's being successful. And it's also part of, I believe, part of being a leader is helping the people that are working with you, help them grow, help them learn more about what they need to do, not only for this job, but in terms of moving forward in their lives, so that they feel that not only are they valued, that they're learning something, their skills are being deepened. And that's really important too. It's important to, like you said, you have to listen. If you're a leader and it's just like, okay, what I say goes, that doesn't make any sense. Who wants to listen to that?
Mm.
Especially when that leader doesn't really know everything. You also have to get to know the people that you're leading.
Yes.
And that's like you said, asking questions, getting more information, figuring out ways that everybody can exchange ideas, and that's really important too. So it's so open, there has to be times then you're opening up a discussion or whatever so that people can contribute, so that people can share ideas and build on those ideas. And that's really important and so very, very essential. I was in a company whereby some of the supervisors didn't really care. They were so distant and so
Mm.
removed from the team that the team members didn't really feel honored or respected or acknowledged. And why do my job if I'm not, nobody cares, if nobody sees me?
Yeah.
The other thing is we've been talking about authenticity. It's about being open enough to be real. What does that mean? It means that firstly, that you can't keep changing your mind all over the place. When you have a vision, let that, unless that the vision is something that needs to be shared with everybody so that they can make a contribution and then it needs to be changed. But do what you say you're going to do. Keep those guidelines.
Mm.
Don't keep changing up. I worked for some company years ago whereby every month there was a different way of doing something, and people got really confused. How do I do my job if last month it was this way and now it's this way, and there's no rationale reason for it? You're just changing it because of the whim. Like, how does a company grow that way? You also have to have ways for everybody to connect and share ideas and create a philosophy, create something whereby everybody is respected and acknowledged and differences are supported. I once coached somebody who said every time I go to meet staff meetings, I really feel very nervous and because my brain doesn't work fast enough. Like they'll ask questions and then they'll say, "Okay, Marjorie," or whatever, and they're looking at me. I need to process information, she said, and I always felt stupid. And I'm not stupid, but I always felt like
On
I
the
was
spot,
called.
like you're on the spot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she felt, and it made me feel horrible about myself.
Mm.
Why do that? Why make somebody feel that way? That's not fair. Years ago, I was talking to someone who was a leader, and he said, and I love this. He said, "My job is to help the people that the team, help them grow even beyond where I am." he said, when I can see them grow beyond where I am, I feel that I've really done my job. And I thought, wow.
That's very
Because
respectable.
yes, it
Yeah.
is. Some leaders, don't get in my way.
Right.
Don't
Right.
think you're in charge here, right? But he saw it as, let me grow them. Let me see their potential and help them develop their potential in as many ways as possible, because it also helps the organization and the company when they're doing that.
Mm. You're bringing back memories of the good and the bad. And
Yeah.
it was last year, a friend of mine, somebody I'm close to, uh, took a job. She had taken some time off for some personal reasons and took a job at this major healthcare organization. And there was training involved, some new systems and things like that. She had never worked with them before. And these were the red flags. This is what was presented. She goes for, initial orientation, meeting everybody. She gets hired and they said, wow, it's great to have you here. A lot of people, they'll come here, they'll talk, and then they'll go to lunch and then they don't come back. Okay. Duly noted. Then it was, I see your eyes. Then it was time for the training, and the training wasn't good. It was very haphazard, and the trainer was the opposite of the person that you just said that I want those people to be better than me. This person was like fearing for their job. They actually
Right.
said, if you have a question, don't ask.
Ah.
So my friend continued with the training, started the job. It was, there was numbers to keep up on in terms of quotas and things like that. And it got to the point where they were telling her, you're not meeting your numbers, after a month or two. And turns out they were giving the credit to another employee by error.
Mistake, right?
But the game
Right.
changer of all of that, and my friend just didn't like the job, didn't like the culture. It was one of those, they would have a holiday party, and we're going to have the party in the conference room. All right, instead of going out somewhere, but nobody wanted to go because the culture was not good. She needed to take off because she had a heart issue. And she has a pacemaker, so they had to change out the battery after like 10 years. So she had to take, some time off for the surgery or whatever. Would you believe that not one person even reached out and said, how you doing?
Wow.
And then she left and never came back. Horrible culture. And I had to share that because that's the way not to do it.
Right. And that's so important. Again, when I was a leader and a director, the people that were leading their teams, there was one particular person who, again, you have to be able to be responsible. You're asking your team to be responsible.
Right.
But if you're showing up late and leaving early and taking an hour or so lunch, what are you telling your team? What are you presenting?
Yeah.
How are you letting them know that you really care, that you're really invested, that they should follow you and honor the principles of the company if you're not? What I
Respect.
had to, right, what I had to do was, well, was fire people, which was very difficult for me. But it's like, do your job. If you are a leader, if you are a supervisor, that's an honorable position. But you have to be able to do something to be, you have to be honorable to have that position. And it's not like you're talking about, it's not, well, it's yours, so you could do whatever you want. No, you have a responsible to show up, to be honest, to be sincere, to have integrity, and to let that be known, because those are the principles that you want your staff members to utilize and be a part of. You have to demonstrate that wholeheartedly. And
Hmm.
that's so important because, again, like you said, many people in that higher up position think that, well, that's it. This is
Yeah.
it. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to prove myself. I don't have to show up. I can just, no. That's so wrong. And it's not fair to the people that are working very hard, that come in day after day to do their jobs honestly, with integrity. It's hard, can be hard work. Now, oftentimes, some of the companies I work with kids with special needs, that's not an easy job day after day. And what are you doing to support these people, to let them know that what they're doing really matters and that you appreciate them, and that's so important. But be real, be
Yes.
authentic, like we're talking about. But live the truth. Don't hide behind things. Okay, because my door is closed. If you want to come in, you got to make an, whatever. But
Well, on the flip side of that, a couple of the leaders that I mentioned, they would say the open door, but door's always open. You come in here, you have that.
yeah,
But it's one thing to say that, but it's another to truly mean it, because again, nobody wanted to go in there. Nobody,
right,
you just avoided passing that door. And even the managers would say the same thing. These are people that were 2 offices away, and they were just, I don't want to deal with that guy. What?
don't even go there. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Again, there were few managers, and one said that, why should I be in this place if I'm not getting the feedback that I need, if I'm not learning more in terms of doing my job? And that's really important. Now, something else, and that is, if you're a manager, if you're a director, sometimes you need to be able to do some of the dirty work. And I don't mean it that way, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
And really show that you can be a part of the team, that you're not just so unavailable, so unreachable, so untouchable that you can't do something. I remember staying up for a few nights with a couple of managers. We had to get something out in time, and they needed support. So we were there, and again, as a director, nobody really does that, but they needed the help.
Yep. Yep. Jump in the trench. It's
Yeah,
okay.
right. And not only that, it shows that you care, that you also know what you're doing.
Yeah. hmm But
And that,
even just showing up, I was in an event 2 months ago. It was an outdoor event. It was actually rainy and chilly. And the manager of this company, and I was there for another reason. I had a client there, etc. The big guy showed up. He was there, and he walked through, and hey, good job. That looks great. It's kind of cold here. Appreciate you being here. You just felt that he. I think the key is being part of the team, but also getting the respect as well. Because
right.
like a parent, you can't be your kid's friend. You have to be a parent, but you also have to, be able to be at that level where you can, run in the field and play ball with them, but also you can, set the guideline. We're out of time.
The rules. Right. It's so important. Also, be able to let people have some initiative.
Mm,
I remember years ago, I got a phone call, and it was a silly thing. This team was going on an outing with the kids, and they didn't have something for food, and they were asking, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, what kind of manager is this that is not allowing them to make decisions, because the manager was out, allowing them to make decisions that they had to call up to get permission to shift something. And I thought that, you've got to be able to also respect the team members and let them do their jobs and not be so overpowering.
like a helicopter parent.
Right, that they feel that they need permission, that doesn't work well. And that
Mm,
makes people feel not responsible, but also not feel that they're being valued or appreciated, or that they can do their job well.
that those people will never take a chance. They will always ride inside the box without even going outside of the box and growing the company because they're afraid. I don't blame them. I would be afraid too.
Right. And I remember getting that phone call and I said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, that's a great idea. Go with it. That's great. I mean, again, why was I being called? Because the manager was unavailable and they probably needed permission from the manager to make a shift.
Yeah.
When they were perfectly capable and they were there and they had to do something quickly and, really respect the people that are doing the job.
What's the best way to find you, Joanne? If somebody, leads a team, has a company, and they want to have a better connection with everybody, to work with you, how do they do that?
Okay, so they can call me. They can go. I'm on a lot of sites, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Joanne at drjoanne.com. They can always reach out to me. I love helping people. As you and I talked, I feel like I'm here to serve, and I will do. Somebody said, "Are you ever going to stop?" No. Why? Why?
Yeah. I don't have that answer either. Why? I don't know. Just because, this is what you do. This is your purpose. Why would you want to stop?
Right. It feels good and it helps others. And that's what we're here to do, I believe. So there we are.
drjoannewhite.com. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate
Steve.
it.
Have a beautiful day. Stay warm.
Yes.
Cool, whatever you need, right?
A little chilly here in the Northeast, but
I know.
The
Look
warmth
at me.
is
I'm
coming.
wearing a sweater.
I've got the heat on. Yes. All right. We'll catch up soon. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.